we go to Japan. And these are funny because Uncle Dave, wow, he's actually being like freaking brutal towards New Japan here. Masa, as you say, my hero, Chono, won his fourth New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax tournament, beating Yoshihiro Takayama in the finals. It aired as a live special on TV and did a disappointing rating, the latest in a long line of bad shows and disappointments for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Uncle Dave recaps the whole show and why everything was pretty much just boring or bad. He said, quote, "This idea of using shooters against New Japan has long since run its course," end quote. He also said things would only get worse if they kept booking like it's 1979.
Don't get that.
Man. Yeah, basically saying that, they're booking like, oh, well, if he's a legit badass shooter, that means he's over, right? Like, not necessarily.
Well, not necessarily. Did he come out of a box?
Yeah, exactly. Now, if he's a big badass, legitimate shooter that comes out of a box, then, then maybe he'll be over. But until I see the box, no go. Anyway, speaking of Antonio Inoki royally screwing things up, his latest UFO MMA show was a disaster. Needless to say, despite all of Inoki's claims, Mike Tyson and Thomas Hearns did not appear. I wonder why. There were only about 12,000 people in attendance, and only 5,000 or so of them were paid. Did I mention this was in the Tokyo Dome, by the way? It was the small... Yeah. It was the smallest MMA or wrestling audience in the history of the Dome. In the low light of the show, Chyna showed up, not the country, the woman, and challenged anyone.
Chyna with a Y.
Right.
Which is over.
Good Lord. Why, as in, why are you here? Showed up and challenged anyone in the audience to face her. They brought out a woman named Chika Nakamura, a Golden Gloves boxing champion. They did a work-shoot wrestling match that, of course, was terrible, and Chyna won. Afterwards, she said that she wanted to fight the men. The main, because she's a strong, independent woman that don't need no man. But the main event of Noya Ogawa versus amateur wrestler Matt Ghaffari, according to Uncle Dave, quote, was the MMA equivalent of the Patterson-Briscoe evening gown match, end quote.
Good Lord. I love how that's the one I use as an example.
That's just like, so it was comically bad, I guess. Ghaffari was apparently terribly out of shape, and it was completely awful. Hot damn.
I think that last part was a redundant statement to say when he just said what he just said, but okay.
Right. Well, speaking of China and Japan, again, the woman, not the country of China and Japan. You know what I mean. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I think that's even possible. Yeah.
Right. New Japan Pro Wrestling is indeed planning to book Chyna on several shows in September, facing male wrestlers. She's teaming up with some undercard guys in a 6-man match against the team of Yuji Nagata, Jushin Liger, and Masahito Kakahara. That last one, I don't know who the hell it is. In other matches, she's also facing such names as Yoshihiro Tanahashi, Kenzo Suzuki, Masahiro Chono, Minoru Tanaka, and more. Because she can hold her own against them.
Well, sell some tickets, I guess, because apparently they need to.
Yeah. To recap, I just mentioned Tanahashi, Suzuki, Chono, whatever, and Minoru Tanaka. Like, hot damn. In case that's not enough bad ideas for one tour, though, New Japan Pro Wrestling is also bringing in a fake Great Muta. It turns out that they own the rights to the gimmick, so evidently they're planning to do their own version of the fake Diesel Razor thing. How
That's
Mexico
so
of them. Yeah. It's like, is this Japan or Mexico? Because, like, what the hell, man? That was just like, what's weird is that the video game company Ukes had to bail them out because Antonio Inoki drove them so far into the gutter.
That sounds very weird.
Right? And now Ukes is making AEW video games. So there you go. Wait, right? It's them, right?
Yeah, it'd be a good omen. I think it is them. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, it's not like they were, flourishing under Ukes, but they were doing better than they were under Inoki. At least they weren't bringing in MMA fighters to, have worked shoots against their guys. Either way.
Shoot, bro.